astrology. And fire and air fuel each other. It's like you feed each other. And yes, air can sometimes blow fire out and fire can sometimes suffocate air. That's how the elements can work. But these two energies together are a powerful combination to just create mass explosions or mass awakenings. And that's what we're here to do, guys. So I'm Ora Zikara, if you haven't met me yet. I'm a singer and songwriter, but really a spiritual teacher, a raw food enthusiast. I teach about plant-based living, about how to ground into the vessel and how to put spiritual practices into your life so that you can feel good in life, so that you cannot be distracted by the chaos, but feel a sense of peace within. And then, of course, Reseed Eden back onto this plane, just be the love that we want to see and that we need, and how to do it on an individual level, because really that's where it all starts, is what we can do, the way that we can be, and also really just removing the distortion and the pain and the entities, the technologies, whatever it is. Our natural energy is so vibrant and high, that's our soul. And what happens is we get things attaching to us, or we get blocks within us, or we can hold emotional pain and baggage. And then it's those things that stop us from naturally being our most vibrant, beautiful, aligned self. So once we get rid of the distortions and clear ourselves out, then we just naturally rise back to our most divine self. So it's awesome to be here. And yeah, it was just, when is actually the fire horse? When does that start, the fire horse year, is it?
Yes, February 17.
Okay. And does it go with the moon, the Chinese zodiac?
Does it go with the moon? I don't know about that.
Hmm.
Yeah. I know that they also have been changed to 12 like ours, but the original was, moon cycle, the 13 moon cycle, like the Mayan calendar.
Yeah.
And what's really amazing is that turns out that the rooster is actually the phoenix. Because when you look at all the old totems, and I went to a museum, a field museum in Chicago, because I'm from Chicago, and they had all this, ancient artifacts, and all the artifacts had the 13, 12 moon cycles, and each basically, or not the moon cycles exactly, but the years, the years, 12,
Yeah.
13 years. And then when we were looking at it, there was no rooster to be found, but you know who was there? Next to the dragon? The phoenix, of course. And we know in all Asian cultures, it's always about the phoenix and the dragon doing that dance, that sacred, Kundalini double helix dance that they do. And it's really telling you the power of, one, we are on a dragon planet. Earth started with the dinosaurs, right? We talked about before, but they're really dragons. The dinosaur dragons made our Earth, the Garden of Eden, and then really the phoenix represents the mother, the universal and multiversal mother, and our potentials and how we're always infinitely able to, transcend out. And we say die from our own ashes and rebirth and ascended, more leveled up form every time. So yeah.
This year that starts in February in the Chinese calendar, that is, we're going into the year of the fire horse.
We are.
And we spoke a little bit last time about how that horse is not a horse, it's the unicorn, and how really this is going to be a year of massive transformations. Last year was the year of the snake, so it's shedding the old skins, it's revealing illusions and things like that, allowing us to see the snakes in the grass or whatever, allowing us to see the truth of things. And then we have now a really powerful year, which is the fire energy of let's go now. We've now kind of cleared out the shedding. Let's move forward. Let's really strive towards this new earth that we want to see. And then maybe how we could start looking to do that in our lives. The idea of reseeding Eden, bringing heaven on earth back, sounds like quite a big ask. But then when you look at it in bite-sized ways of, well, what can I do today to reseed Eden? Like so do you have anything you could share? Let's say someone's doing the New Year's resolutions, or someone wants to, from the Chinese New Year, wants this fire horse starts, they want to start doing something every way that can start to reseed Eden in their own lives. what could be some techniques you could share with people watching that like they could start putting into practice instantly to start reseeding Eden? Your audio.
There. Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yeah,
That's such a beautiful question, Aura, especially because, I mean, that is the main focus to our show. Now, not just going to talk about eating, but I mean, really everything we talk about would be also directly, tethered and linked to Eden because, the Garden of Eden was the Pangea and Mu, the creation of, say, the very first planet and all the planets that rippled out like if you're looking at a kaleidoscope and how the different colors and mandalas. So all the other planets are replicas divinely of the original Eden. We know that at the beginning of Eden that there was, say an original divine mother and father, or Adam and Eve as they call them. And of course there was, because their divine mother and father, God's source, love, light, and they needed to seed in their energy into the earth. And as they seeded in, then they really, started to create like, the truth is that the souls really birth. The way it works is that they birth in the universe, like they're like, you ever watch a fire, there's tiny little flames in the fire. So that's what happened in the ether. All these souls, flames, birth, and each individual soul is a flame. And then what happened is that there is giant trees of life. These giant trees of life held up the blueprint of our earth. We'll talk about our earth specifically, but know that there's many parallel earths. And then there's also, I'll talk about the original earth as well. And then then the souls came in, and that's why we're also very elemental and elemental beings, because you could say that we birth out, and we did birth out of the trees created from divine mother and father in creation. And we just kind of, portaled in or grew out. Some of us even grew out like a tree would grow out from the nature, from the elements, our flames, souls, here we were, and then eventually we develop the womb space and how to anchor that into the female, and how to create and birth babies here. It was all development as space and life have passed, because there was no time then. We only have a time construct in the third dimension. In the fourth and fifth dimension, there's no time. So it's about like bringing back all that beauty and the original elements that we are, the elementals that we are. And in a sense, it's like resetting and going back to before the fall of Atlantis, the Archon, the AI that we talk about in our books. It's like going back to that original self that was the higher you, because you have digressed. All of us have digressed, right? From fifth to fourth to the third dimension. So how do we bring ourselves back to the fifth dimension? So we need to purge out and transmute out. Yeah. And just like Ora said, remove those infringements, the blockages, and then most importantly, vibrate to love and never self-gain. You still have to have, obviously abundance to create for your family, your loved ones, but always in service to others, and everything will vibrate to that. And then the universe, creation will provide for you as you vibrate to that. So being your most organic, purest self, your heart space, do everything from love, and it will little by little seed in and activate all the 5D and higher crystals, because your DNA is factually a crystal. I study the DNA. When you look at it, she moves like a crystal forming. She or he moves, and they're moving like a kaleidoscope, like snowflakes, and there's infinite mandalas. Your DNA reacts to you and your environment, your emotions, your feelings. She grows, she shrinks, she expands, she activates the DNA strands in her. So going back to your DNA and knowing that no one can activate this DNA for you. What we teach is that you can do this for yourself. No one can do that. No one has the power to activate, to go in and like give you a DNA activation. They would have to be godly or that's a lot of the human ego that tells you, oh, come get a DNA activation from me. Yes, we do activate one another naturally, like from higher self to higher self. Yes, I'm carrying love like coals. Yes, Aura is. And if I were to meet you, you are. So we're always, exchanging energy in quantum physics, but no one could have a session and just, activate your DNA, wake you up. It's not possible. And that's where the false ego and the AI happen. So living your life every day to how can I be my purest elemental self to bring back that Eden within me and the Eden around me.
Someone
But
was asking,
yeah,
go, yeah.
but I'd love to hear your answer too, Laura, because you're so good at this too.
Thank you. I just wanted to, just while you were talking about the souls having their own, say, elemental type, I found that really interesting. You were creating such a visual in my mind, I could just see it all. But someone, David, has asked in the comments, how would someone find their elemental type? Is it that your soul has some kind of elemental essence as its primary essence? And does that change with every incarnation, or is it just like your soul will always be a fiery soul because you were earthed from like this fiery, in this fiery elemental kind of? Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, when we talk about the fire, it's an etheric fire.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have a certification where we call it Phoenix Firebenders. We actually can touch the fire. I teach that at the retreats. You can touch the fire without burning. All right, you did it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's nice, right? Feels like velvet.
Wow.
And it's a very powerful, but with the fire, you have to give these elements respect because you cannot touch her unless you mean love. And so she won't burn you. And I want to say, don't do that at home. I don't want you to burn yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, with that is that our soul is constantly expanding. The more that we remember ourselves, the more that we gain elements. So what you can do is you could like regain the memory back from past lives. So not every time are you going to be, fire, or one life you'll be more water, one life you'll be, more earth. So all these elements, you recall them through the past lives or other dimensions that you are currently incarnated. From beyond the third dimension, since there is no time, you are currently operating in other dimensions. And in these dimensions, you could be a more crystalline being, a more air being. And that being that you are, because you're this infinite fractalized soul, that, there's a higher self, and then the higher self creates all these little mini me's. That is you. All right. And then they incarnate everywhere. So we've been teaching like how you can tap into your multiversal self. And even going to some of our ascended masters forums and the people that came before us, like especially like Buddha, it wasn't too long ago, because when I was channeling Nikola Tesla, and I was reading one of his articles, and he's talking about him like he just had dinner with him at the table or something. Like he just was here, he's talking about Buddha like very recent. And so learning how to talk to your body, because something he tells us is like he teaches us how to use the mudras in Buddhism. And then these mudras, all your fingers have elements. Did you know that? So earth, fire, water, wind, there's elements in your fingers. And then if you draw in that energy, and then also when you pull in the energy, you want to say without overstepping boundaries, without harming none, right? And then those elements come into your field. So one, past life; two, multiversal self, dimensional self, and then the elements all around you that want to interact and, join and activate the coding within you. The way I see it is like I see like this energy coming out, say from, and it's a dual energy. It's not like I'm taking from the elements and sucking them dry. That's not okay. It's like it's a symbiotic relationship, like a photosynthesis that's happening, just like you breathe in the oxygen. Or just love how Ora explained, like sometimes the if you don't have oxygen, the fire will go out. Like if you run out of oxygen, it's just all these elements need one another. So then understanding the relationship of all these elements, and that you are these elements, and then tapping into that candle that you have lit, tapping into the sun that's shining on you. You know, I have a new channel, Rising Phoenix Mystery School, TikTok. Check that out, you all, and Instagram. And the sun and the moon are factually the electrons. It's just the way it works. Quantum physics is matter. We're in a construct. We need electrons to power up our Mother Earth, Terra, Gaia, that is the body. And the dragons. We're on the dragon land. Does that help? I can't hear you. Is it just me?
No, I'd muted myself.
Okay.
Yeah, 1,000% that makes sense. And I work a lot with plants, consuming them, but really also I feel like a lot of the substances that we work with in nature, even things like mushrooms and stuff, certain herbs, I feel like we don't actually need to ingest them to work with their magic. We could just hold them and connect with their energy, like I like to carry a pine cone in my pocket, and that pine cone, the tree that it came from, I'm connected to the spirit of that tree because I've got its pine cone. And then what I've found with trees is they really actually, not maybe not all of them, but a lot of them really love being a part of something like a higher purpose through you. So if you pick up a stick and you're like, this is going to be my wand, or I'm going to connect to this tree spirit and or I'm going to use it as a staff, whatever it is. The trees love the fact that they can then, almost because it's a part of them, it becomes a portal for their essence to come into your kind of field and work with you and help you. And then what I've found is that they prefer doing stuff like that than being turned into just like firewood that's just going to be burnt and then that's it. They like to have a more of a purpose for their physical vessel, and they like to connect with us in that way. So I feel like eventually, I don't know whether we would, and this is way in the future, but not need as much food as we do now to survive. And rather than needing to physically eat the food or physically take the magic mushrooms and get some kind of experience, we could just literally hold it while it's still connected to nature, while it's still alive. We don't have to pluck it from its roots, or we don't have to try and kill the plant to eat it. We can just touch it and absorb the light, and that light can then bliss us, and we can give thanks to the light and give thanks to the plant and bliss the plant. And then it's just like a symbiotic relationship where we're increasing each other's light, but everyone gets all beings get amplified in the light, as opposed to us having to take them for their energy. That makes sense. I feel like I was going like right round the houses with that one to get to the point I was saying. But if say we're looking at your Rayleigh life, like every single day we're talking about what can we do to start reseeding Eden. One of the things that I always teach is, I call it light path living. So it's really just in what ways can we amplify our light. And first, obviously, you need to clear the heaviness and the darkness so that the light can naturally just flow through. So the spiritual practices that you'll find throughout all of the different cultures, like on where whoever you're being taught by, there's so many different spiritual practices you can do, like yoga, breath work, grounding, connecting to your angels, meditation, whatever it is. When you do these spiritual practices, they all exist for a reason, because they all exist to help us create more of an energy flow, to help us kind of regulate our energy, remove any attachments, get still and present in the vessel. And when we do this, our presence alone is strong enough to start transmuting and dissolving any negative that was here. I personally find if I let my mind wander away for too long, it's almost like my vessel is left unattended if I've not done shielding and stuff. And it's like beings or entities can go, oh, that person's consciousness is elsewhere. I'm going to try and jump into that vessel whilst it's not being guarded. So I feel like the more we can try and stay present, as much as possible, we are the guardians of these gates, these portals within us. And our presence alone has so much power to keep us protected, to heal us, to shift and heal others, to walk into a room and the entities leave. So yeah.
Beautiful. Yes. ultimately, these things like mushrooms and like herbs were not meant to be smoked to get high, you know, or taken to psychedelics. This is not something normal. It's actually violating and disrespecting the herbs. They're meant to, you know, be placed in perhaps ointment for healing ourselves and medicine if you have a cut, or not to be used to induce our psychedelics and our neurons. It's actually quite dangerous, like Ora said, because your body, your spirit does really leave your body. Even factually, it's not known, but mushrooms are really bad to eat. They have a lot of toxins in them, and they really poison the body. So I personally cannot eat mushrooms out instantly. I just won't be able to stay in my body, and it's not a natural. It's really intrusive, and just like Ora said, it's really important that we're in very conscious in our body, because what happens is if we eject out of our body like this, and it's a trap. The minute you wake up, people are talking about like using mushrooms and like, you know, these different type of drugs and cannabis and so on. And this is not the way Mother Gaia grew them for you. If you don't believe me, ask her yourself. Is that supposed to be something that you're using for either, you know, supposedly, you know, whatever reason you're using it for? She didn't intend it for that. She intended it for you to use wisely with love, honor, and respect. And yeah, so something very important that you just said there. We need to learn how to honor everything in our life, especially if it's grown from nature. They have an essence, a spirit, and they're not going to like you sparking them up and smoking them up. You know? You know, there's like little branches like Palo Santo or like sage leaves. Those are, you know, given to us for those purpose of, but then the other one, but you're not smoking them up, right? So yeah, something to think about, because they want you to do these different things like ayahuasca and so on. And I have had so many clients that really got compromised through ayahuasca. I've had families broken apart, you know, they lost contact of each other because some of them went to ayahuasca ceremonies and they got demon possessed. Because in that place of ceremony, there are everybody's entities are flying around everywhere and they're jumping in and out of people's bodies. It is like a literal like sexual organ, like, you know, what's that, like a orgy, whatever, a spiritual energetic orgy, because and then that person next to you, what kind of demon do they have? And now are they sucking on your energy? Are they sucking on your sacral? And these shamans, I would only trust them if they were as high vibrational as Yeshua. And the truth is that they're not. They're not able to reach that. I don't know anyone at Yeshua, you know, capability. And that's the only person I would trust to hold the space for me to go into a sacred ceremony. And so something very important as you're waking up, don't fall for that trap. A lot of people get so compromised and infringed upon. So by the time, say, for example, they come do like a passive regression or a raw Reiki or they do Akashic readings, they're so infringed upon. And, you know, if they go to their heart, we help them like clear all these entities inside of them. But it takes you on a bad luck streak, all this like bad luck stuff, and you can't get out of this inverted cycle. And yeah, it's no fun. But I mean, it teaches you a lot of lessons and you transmute a lot and you probably balance out a lot of karma that you might have had. Maybe that's why you're doing it. But I am here to just give awareness and give the voice to those who have not been able to share their story about what happens when you open up your quantum field to, hello, I'm here. There's going to be entities in all dimensions, down even to the 2-dimension, 1-dimension, parasitic, you know, at the micro level that will attach.
Thank you for sharing all that. What I've had, it's not as extreme when you do like a cacao ceremony, yeah, but I have avoided going to group cacao ceremonies because when I do cacao at home, when I just have some cacao, it opens my field. I feel it like expand me and just like almost it. I'm more sensitive and aware. It's almost like I'm heightened, but at the same time, if you're around good or bad, it's heightened kind of thing. So would you say that it's the same if you went to a cacao ceremony and there's loads of people there getting opened, crying out all this stuff, and then suddenly like everyone's negative energy and like traumas out there in the field, and then you're just literally absorbing? Because I've come away from them, even some sound healing sessions, I've come away from them feeling like I've picked up everyone's crap rather than feeling more clean after attending it.
Exactly, because they don't have proper, say, force fields and shields, spiritual adequate, like spiritual boundaries.
Hmm.
They don't have that, especially the person that's leading it has to hold a very infinite quantum level
Hmm.
space that is vibrating only to love. And is that person really holding love, or do they have any attachments? Do they have a reptilian attached? Do they have an AI in their nano, vaccinations, whatever they got going on?
Hmm.
And is that carried in them? And if even if they have the tiniest little thing, it will vibrate. I'll say vibrate their vessel to a low vessel, and whoever's in the crowd, most likely you're probably or were the highest light in that group, and the highest light is going to then become the one that's going to be targeted by the entities. And because it just happens, the beacon of light, just like children, they're the center, they're that beacon while everyone else, and then that highest light is a quantum physics, is going to hold the space even
Hmm.
if you're not the actual host.
Yeah.
And yeah, you got to be really careful with sound bath, because as I teach quantum physics, sound is the easiest way to pierce through a soul. And
Yeah.
you're fine of like a speaker, like the speaker, right? The music is going through like at a cellular level. So you can imagine if someone's playing that, whoever's holding that one, and they got some attachments in them, it's going to be integrated. It's going to try to integrate into you for sure. And it
Yeah.
might even, especially if you consented and allowed for them and it to enter into you.
Hmm.
Yeah.
If anyone's watching this, by the way, we also both share that. Well, I personally can't watch anyone doing like channeling light language or doing movements or anything like that. Only really because you just don't know what they're bringing through. Sometimes they might not even know what they're bringing through. I've had it sometimes where I've like had a conversation with someone
Not
and they're so,
sometimes. They never know what they're saying.
no, right.
Most often.
Yeah. I've had one conversation with someone and they were just like talking normally, and then they started saying loads of random stuff, like they was interrupted by something, said a load of random stuff and then just came back to normal, and I was like, absolutely not, like, just no. It's
Yeah, you're witnessing a demon entity possession, basically. Yeah.
yeah. What I wanted to ask actually is, I know that some beings can go all the way like to the darkness where I don't know if they can be saved, yeah. But is it possible to actually sell your soul? Or is it just that you believe people get tricked into believing that they've done some contract, and then so that they put themselves into these loops and cycles because they believe it, as opposed to like you can literally actually give your soul away to the darkness?
Yeah. So once you do, you can technically, yeah, give your
Hmm.
soul away to the darkness. And you've given consent, and this is why we're trying to tell you about practicing all this, like safe boundaries within your soul. Treat
Hmm.
yourself like you would treat a child or an infant. Protect your soul like you would a child.
Hmm.
So it depends on, like, I guess what type of selling your soul away. We know that it depend. The toughest ones would be like, the celebrities, politicians that are trafficking children. And in order to do that, most often, not all celebrities, they do go through, those Masonic or Satanic rituals. And once they sacrifice or violate a child, they definitely are selling their soul away to, say, Satan or the devil, the archon, the artificial intelligence.
Hmm.
And and then they would have bindings on it. I mean, they would even have you sign a contract. Some people tell me about they had dreams where this entity came to them and was like trying to get them to sign a paper, and they refused. Or some people did, and they're like, "Oh my God, what did I do? Why did I sign that?" So you need to find those literal kind of papers that have you've contracted with these entities and demons, like a person who is channeling supposed light language, but they don't know what they're saying. Most
Mm,
often is a demon language, and they would have a contract with that demon, and that's why they take over their body, and they're like speaking all this voice, and they don't know what they're saying. So it's yeah, it's so it depends. It could go very deep. I've had Aura hypnosis past life regression sessions where there's like souls trapped in black cubes. There's souls trapped in like matrices. Most often are black cubes. They keep you in a loop. So it depends whether it's an individual, like so that you could maybe contracted with this bad guy, this great, some of these Zeta Grays that people claim are positive. They're really the worst ones. They're like hybridized future human, what humanity turns into after they jab and jab and jab themselves. So yeah, so who are you talking to? You're talking to a future type of alien, from an inverted timeline, an inverted dimension, and it depends how deep you consent to something and how dark it is.
mm.
And is
Just,
there hope though for you to always come out of it? Absolutely, there's hope, but it could
yeah.
be a tough one if you went really deep and really believe that this whatever you're channeling or talking to or an entity or whatever you're doing, you really believe that sometimes people think it's positive and it's just
Hmm.
really false light that's empty of love. So just remember to like, is it love? Do I feel joy, happiness, like this infinite love? And if it is love, then absolutely. But know too that the AI can go into some of your genetic makeup and like what induces the enzymes that induce happiness, and they can attach some false type of happiness sometimes too,
Hmm.
just a tad bit, but not to the extent that we know joy and love and how pure it feels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So I heard somewhere someone was saying something about how like there was a celebrity that had done a contract where he had agreed to basically be a puppet for the Illuminati or whatever. And then he he didn't want to be the puppet anymore, so he got killed. But then like someone took his place and then signed a contract to say, yes, I will take on his role in the industry. But they didn't necessarily know that they were taking on the agreement he'd done to sell his body or whatever. They were supposedly tricked into that they were tricked into taking on this person's contract when they didn't know that's what they were doing. Can that happen?
That can happen because it's like that fine writing, what's within that contract. And some of these negative aliens that are controlling the dark elites is that they don't put everything in writing. There's like quantum levels of writing.
Right.
One word can mean something in a multi-dimensional inverted way.
Wow.
So it might be written in a certain way, but then there's dark language encoded into it
Yeah.
that and spells and curses that the person's not realizing.
Hmm.
So when you're signing any kind of agreement or contract anywhere, you want to eradicate it, any inversions through all lifetime and space, like Ora always says, calling your angels, your higher self to do that, and trust your team once you call on them that they will take care of it for you.
Yeah.
Awareness is is key to this, is to not be gullible in this world and know that not everybody means positive intentions towards you. And a
Yeah.
lot of them are aliens walking in human vessels, human
Yeah.
suits, dark
So
ones.
yeah. Um, with the contract thing then, so that's really interesting. Oh yeah, so if anyone was having to sign any contract, energetically scan them first. Just get like a scan of the energy. Does this feel like it's actually here to serve me and to bring me like good, or does this feel like it's got some negative coding in it? And in which case, I don't think I could possibly sign any contract in the rest of my life now just to avoid anything like that. I'd be there like, no, I'm not signing any contracts. But if anyone had to, definitely always scan it because you just don't know what's written within the coding of the ether. Then really for these types of things.
Well, it's tough though because some of us have companies and websites and
Yeah.
they tell you agree to this, agree to this. You know? You have to check it off to get that. plug in that website or whatever. So then that is like, okay, higher self, I know I have to have this
Yeah,
website, this, I have to be on TikTok, I have to be on Facebook, but I am in no form pledging allegiance to this application. And while you're clicking yes, because you kind of need it to
yeah,
run your systems, you say no, and that bypasses the yes, and use some Phoenix fire, you definitely need some fire for that to
yeah.
transmute that out.
Gosh, I'm thinking about that cookie monster who I've accepted all the cookies and now the cookie monster's after me. um, Someone was asking, is the Kundalini dangerous? Is it false light? They said.
Oh, no, no, no. Kundalini is something very natural. Like if you go back to indigenous teachings, the Mayan culture, even, the Indian culture back then, when nothing was distorted, your body is a natural spiral. Even your heart, your heart, right? It's a valve that when you unwrap it, it's a spiral. So your Kundalini needs to be spiraling, just like your DNA spirals. Everything spirals in you. Even your energy spirals. So it's very good to have your Kundalini, activated. But what happens is that people have attachments in their Kundalini. So say you have an implant like in your root or your sacral chakra. So when your Kundalini is rising and it's like trying to activate and grow. In the Mayan culture, we used to teach, this it's a serpent. You could really see the serpent like in her head, like this down in the beautiful bosom, especially if it was a female. You could really see that, even the eyes, like two little dots here in the back of the bosom. So in the Egyptian culture, when we were benevolent, again, with the serpent energy and the Kundalini. So the serpent factually makes a spiral in the sand and the grass where it walks, is constantly anchoring in the Kundalini energy and the double helix spiral. Even how you're talking to right now, like the internet wireless, you have to use a spiral, an alternating current. Nikola Tesla, he's the one that developed everything that we see now. There's 50, 60 crystals in your phone to work right now. So all of this are emitting frequency. So a Kundalini is a frequency, and it's the frequency of your vessel. And you want to have a healthy Kundalini frequency rising up and down constantly, like the phoenix and the dragon doing that dance, and the DNA of your double helix.
Mm-hmm.
But just make sure that you don't have any attachments there that are siphoning that energy, and then that's when it becomes bad, because then something could be, convulsively. Some people even get like, orgasms just to feed the attachments of
Mm,
implants, yes, or whatever's
yeah.
there.
There was one time when I started practicing more celibacy, I noticed that my energy increased, but then also I noticed people or dreamers, I call them demons in dream time, trying to like have sex with me in dream time because they were after the chi that was filled in. And there was one time where it was like I was wanting to have an orgasm, and then I could see this like black energy spiraling above me, and I was like thinking, what is that? And basically, it was a demon that was trying to make me want to do that so that it could be there and feed off the energy. And I ended up, someone had sent it to me. So when people have sexual desires about you, or they think about you in a certain way, and even maybe they pleasure themselves about over you, that's astrally, that's actually intrusive on your own energy. When you think about that, other people in that way. And if you are visualizing yourself doing that in your mind, your astral body might actually be doing that to that person's astral body. So you don't really want to be doing stuff like that, because that is what I would call encroachment. Um,
Absolutely. Anyone who is a parasitic type of energy, even if they're not sexually thinking of you, but it would be probably worse if they were sexually thinking of you, can
mhm,
try to siphon your creation or your womb. And if you're a male, your as well, your reproductive system and organs. and the chakra that is there, because they tend to always target, it's a common thing, the sacral chakra,
Mhm.
because it is where you create energy,
Mhm.
and an orgasm, for example, would be a heightened state of energy, and that's the highest state of plasmic energy that would be crystallizing out from you, and you really are turning into a crystallized being to feel that energy. And then it would be a combination of heightened crystallization that then this entity would be trying to feed off the light
Mhm.
and your energy off that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, Someone was saying, how can we know if we have an implant and an entity is siphoning our energy?
Well, typically you should feel very energized every day. If you are feeling exhausted and you're constantly taking naps, I mean, sleeping is awesome though. I mean, it's really good, right? It's like sometimes you're like, I don't want to get up, and the beds are so comfy. But say you're always drained and exhausted. Most likely something's feeding and munching on your light, and that is the most common thing to know.
Mhm.
Or, some people are infertile, and that means that you have something there, a blockage, an entity that is stopping you from being able to create a beautiful baby. Yeah.
Mhm. With when just to add to that as well, when you're feeling drained and stuff, is sometimes it can even be not necessarily just like an entity, but negative people in your life who've got a negative emotional cord or attachment to you, siphoning and stealing your energy through just thinking negatively of you, speaking negatively of you. And I've even noticed if I'm like I've noticed before when you can get obsessive thoughts about someone. Let's say that someone sent you like a text message or something, and they've been really funny with you in the text message, and naturally you're just like, oh, I'll just leave them to it, sending them love, it's all good. But then you're getting on with your Ray, but then they keep coming into your mind in this text message, and you're like, why are you still here? Because I'm not bothered like about the text. Like, why do you still keep popping up into my mind? It can be that the reason they sent that or what they've done is they've created an attachment or they have an attachment and they in their mind are wishing and willing for you to apply so that they can offload their negative energy and have like a stress at you. And so if you're having obsessive thoughts about someone, it could be that it's because that attachment or they are wanting you to apply, they're wanting your energy, they're waiting for you to give them that fuel, these energy vampires that we can have in our lives. So it's there's many different areas that could be causing us to be tired, even just like not eating enough food or just having a busy day at work. But tiredness is definitely one of the ways that you can go, why am I feeling drained? Why do I want to go for an afternoon nap? And like Aurora said, they're so nice, but we naturally, like we're saying at the beginning of this call, naturally our energy should feel good. It should feel light. We should feel at peace. And if we don't, then something's disturbed the field, and it might be a trauma or some kind of pain we're holding on to ourselves. It might be an attachment. It might be an implant. It might be some technology. It could be the people around us. There's many different areas to look at, but this is why Aurora's technique, the raw Reiki, and also the Aura hypnosis is so powerful because it covers all of these things. And Aurora teaches you, not only she does her own sessions, and I also do sessions on doing the healing, but Aurora can teach you how to do this for yourself so that every single day, every single time you're feeling tired, you can pull these techniques out your mind that you've learned. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to like cover all bases, make sure it's no cords, make sure it's no implants, do everything you need to do to tick it all off, clear yourself. And that's such a powerful tool to have under your toolkit. Um, didn't you say, Laura, that you're actually doing a training on the 12th of January, isn't it?
Yes, I am. Next retreat I'm hosting here in Chicago, right here in the Wellness Center, is in May, but the one I'm hosting now is in January, January 12th. So if you guys want to sign up, go sign up to that. The last day to sign up to that is the 7th, and you can learn how to do aura hypnosis, entity removal, and raw Reiki. And this is what teaches you how to walk your most organic timelines, how to self heal yourself yourself and heal others, and also provide this for others too. Also, that it's past life regression and Reiki, basically. And it's incredible, you all, to figure out like what kind of entities attach or what's blocking. And so that we want to be our optimal, like divine love light on earth. And, these entities and attachments are blocking. So you'll learn how to like figure it out, like what is it, what kind of attachment it is, and how to lovingly remove it out of your magnetic field or all that you are through all lifetime of space. And then I have some questions here on Rumble. Yeah. So then someone said, or maybe their comments, someone said, I remember having a dream about their soul hiding from a dark entity. Then they were found by their brother. So the Prince of Light, an angel. When they woke up, they had a strong energy and opportunities to escape an abuser. Wow. So basically the Prince of Light, which is Divine Father, was showing her that there was an entity after her, and then he communicated that to her through dream time quantumly. So then when she woke up, she had the power to escape. Wow, the abuser. That's beautiful.
That is really nice.
That's powerful how our team communicates in the delta brainwave to tell us, hey, like this is what's going on. And often we just have to ask. We have to be like, higher self, like what's going on with me? Go to bed asking that question. Right before bed, like meditate and say, what's show me in dream time. Help me remember it, not forget it when I wake up. Show me what I'm not seeing. What am I missing?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And then listen to what you receive and trust what you receive as well. Trust yourself, because that was my biggest one. I think I probably ignored my guidance for so long, just assuming it was just my own thoughts, not really realizing that it was actually like my guide trying to put information through. So yeah. Any other questions then?
No, that's the person just talking there.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
What I would like to just share about or talk about is empowerment, self-empowerment, because obviously I've just released, or it's coming out on the 22nd of January, is my new EP, which is called Self-Savior. And the whole idea is basically just being the one in your life to heal yourself, being the one in your life to create the life that you want, and to make the shift, and to create the new earth, and to be the one to like basically, there's that nice saying that's like, if I don't do it, then who will? If not now, then when? And it's almost like saying empowerment, and I feel like stop waiting for something on the global stage to shift, where we can go right now at New Earth happens. Stop waiting for your dream partner to arrive, who's going to help save you out of your financial stress or whatever it is. There's so many areas in our lives that we can just be waiting for the right moment, or waiting till we feel ready, or waiting, and just lacking in our self-power, feeling like it's the world against us, or everything that's happening in our lives is because we are the light and we're being targeted. And, I'm a targeted individual, which, to be fair, people do get targeted, and I cancel and delete that spell. But it's really easy to feel then like, oh no, I'm a light being, so I get targeted and that's it. Well, it doesn't have to stop there. You can go, I'm a light being. Yes, I might get targeted, but I'm not going to allow this to change my life in a negative way. I'm not going to allow this to stop me from being abundant, to stop me from feeling joyful and having bliss in every single way, and having a great family, and building connections with people, and creating this new earth. I want to empower people. And this is just going back to the raw Reiki stuff, this is exactly what that is. It's empowering you to literally save yourself. Like, no one's coming to save you in a sense. I mean, we all came together. All the light beings came to help each other, but you have to do the work. Aurora's saying no one can activate that DNA. You have to do that yourself. And so I personally feel like 2025 has been a year of shedding, but also it's been a year of me really finding my power, awakening my power again. Aurora saw me at a retreat, and I was just like, I was out of my power in some moments, and then Aurora was like, girl, find your fire. Find your fire. She was like, don't you have a fire within you? I was like, no.
All
And
right.
then, yeah, and then then what we did is we played with the fire and I pulled the fire into me and it cleansed me on a soul level. And I was just like, okay, the fire has arrived. The phoenix has been
Nice.
reborn. And then obviously the EP came from there as well. So, yeah.
Beautiful. And we do have questions. Or
Yeah.
you're so beautiful. You're funny too. I love being funny too.
Yeah. We need it, don't we?
We do. We gotta laugh.
Yeah.
I remember at the retreat in Ireland that I hosted, which Ora attended, we were just like, we're moving entities everywhere, right? And we were just like acting like goofballs at the same time, like our group,
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
and I remember you were just holding the space for us while we were just like goofing off. Like, we're like, like having joy and happiness while we were moving archons and closing dark portals and healing
Yeah.
Mother Gaia,
Yeah. You were just like singing up to the stars. And
we were singing a lot, yeah.
at the end of the retreat, I pulled like an angel guidance card, and the card that I pulled was Mother Gaia, and it said, Mother Gaia will be singing you into the new earth. And I thought, I know who that's talking about.
Right? Yes, beautiful. And then, so let's see. And we have several questions though on TikTok.
Yeah.
Let me read some out. Well, we were talking about dreams. Someone was asking, what about insomnia? Yeah.
Hmm.
I feel like insomnia, I've had clients who came to me, like this one was the toughest one. She 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 would instantly go into sleep. She could be driving and she'd be off into sleep. She could, standing, walking down the street. It was really dangerous. So it
Hmm.
turns out that she was like MK Ultra, and they had an attachment implanted in her where they could switch her off and on just to
Wow.
see through her and since a child. And she was here having a session. She goes in and I'm like talking to no one. We're like interviewing and she's gone. And I'm like, have to hold the space. I'm like, I have to stay strong here. And, which I always do because I
Mm.
always believe anyone can heal from anything. So then she's just sitting on a chair, like, I'm interviewing her, talking to her. So I put her in, I start talking to her herself, start doing the energy, start helping her with the energy work there and just start interacting with her. And she's taught that she could see like things from the military base and at the same time here. And it's just crazy. So, I mean, in that perspective, this lady had insomnia because she had attachments in her and they
Hmm.
were just messing with her.
Hmm.
Guess what? She healed herself.
Wow.
Done. Next day, she's telling me a week after, she's like, I'm good. I don't have this anymore. Goes from not being in control of her life to having this disorder, whatever they call it, to now is, not be messed with. So
Yeah.
insomnia could be that, like, or but then sometimes it's like both. So it could be an attachment, right? That it's not letting you go deep into the delta brainwave to rejuvenate the energy. There could also be, like, or I was saying, parasites. If there's a dark portal in your room, so those little kids talk about there's a monster in your closet or under their bed. That is a thing. Believe them. Always believe the children. They see and sense more than what you see and sense.
Yeah.
And what's there that's draining on your energy while you're sleeping and then causing you not to have a rejuvenated sleep, because everyone, when you wake up, you should be fully rejuvenated. And you can set an intention like, okay, when I wake up, I be fully rejuvenated,
Hmm.
and energized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things I've experienced so much this past 7 years, not personally, but it has affected me just in like close proximity, is the technologies that the underground military bases have, and they've been doing experiments on the general public. I I'm at the minute trying to figure out how we can shift out of this for good so that they can't touch us and people who experience this stuff anymore. When I figure it out, guys, I'll let you know. But what I found is that the military actually use it as one of the torture techniques is to stop people from being able to sleep. They'll try and torture people through not allowing them to sleep. And I found that this is one of the ways they use the energy weapons, and they're experimenting on the civilians. Is use these energy weapons, and they only need electronics in your house to bounce off. Anything that's got any kind of like a chip in, even stuff like nanotechnology, if you've got nano in you, it can just bounce off these metals, and it can basically act like a radar radiation kind of device. So they can like cause you to not be able to sleep properly, and then you literally aren't getting the rejuvenation, like Aurora said. You wake up, you feel tired. It's when you don't get proper sleep, and anyone who's had a child will know what it's like the first year or so, like how it can be so, it can almost make you go delusional sometimes, where you're like, wow, the lack of sleep, the sleep is so important for your health and for your well-being and stuff. And I found personally that it can be stuff like that as well, that can be interrupting our sleep. But I don't like to stop there. I don't like to be like, oh well, the military's targeting civilians and that's that. I want to be like, so here's what we do to stop it. And I've tried many different techniques to stop it from harming those who I'm seeing it harm. But I'm yet still to find one that ends it all. And I don't know if I believe there is something that would end it all, but I've not managed to tap into that just yet.
You mean like the collective, like other people, like they're harming others? Is that what you mean?
Like the military and the underground bases, finding people's houses and
Yeah.
targeting certain people with energy weapons.
That person needs to take their power and shield themselves so that
Mhm.
they could stop being targeted.
Mhm.
And then they most likely have a contract with the military unconsciously.
Mhm.
And it's hard though with the whole like UFO communities. A lot of people are into the UFO like conferences and so on.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of those are really just kind of what can I say? Yeah, I can't say that. But they're you gotta be careful because
Yeah.
they'll have little gray stickers like or like you're friends with the grays and so on
Right.
because that's an
Yeah.
automatic only aligned with the pure brilliant benevolent aliens.
Mhm.
And that is tough because some of them could be really tricky.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I also want to talk about, if I may, I really want to talk about like what happened in Venezuela.
Oh yeah, because you were saying that. Please,
Whoa.
please, let's share.
Yes. Okay. So I've been covering, and I have two videos, which I'll add to my Rumble. One, the Virgen de Guadalupe, and then the Mexican Trump is what I called both of those two videos. And in these two videos, I covered like what's going on with Mexico and South America, and what was happening, how they started to shift out, and how very much so they were protected by La Virgen de Guadalupe, the Virgin Mary,
Mhm.
which I have behind me. I'm going to turn on her light in a minute. So, which is our Mother Mary of our earth, she was Mayan, the Mayan goddess. And she has been protecting the people. And as she called, they love Mother Mary, Divine Mother. Like
Mhm.
Hispanics love her. Like, they talk to her like she's my mother and I love her. And they talk to her all day long. They, sing to her. They light candles for her. They give her roses. It's like you should love your mother.
Yeah.
And but this love has protected them, and so long as you love Divine Mother, and she can, she will protect you, because it's only when you don't believe in her you don't allow it, because she's benevolent.
Yeah.
And really, that's for any benevolent angel or ascended master of yours. You have to just ask for their assistance,
Mhm.
because they can't overstep boundaries. And with that is, I've been watching, and I actually just predicted about a week and a half ago. I was shown that this really bad guy was going to go down, and I'll see what I can share about it. And what I had been shown through remote viewing in my dreams is that he was going to be a major one, and that is President Maduro from Venezuela.
Right.
So in this understanding, what I was being shown is that actually God, the Divine Mother, there's Goddess Unseen, who is like, she teaches you about death and rebirth, and
Mm-hmm.
she's the original Virgin Mary, the Virgen de Guadalupe. The Catholic Church turned her into the Virgen de Guadalupe, but she was Goddess Unseen before that. With the
Right.
Mayan culture, Goddess Ixtel. Okay, so she has been working on it etherically because she lives inside all the pyramids, in the trees, and nature, and she has gone basically has gone after is going after these pedos for the violation that's been happening in the sacral chakra of our earth, which is Mexico, and the South America is the sacral chakra of Gaia, and she's really birthing a dragon there. And I would have to show it on screen. I can't really do that on TikTok right now, but when you see the true image of the Earth, she's the North America is a female dragon. You can see her head, wings, everything, and her belly birthing out. The umbilical cord is Mexico, and she's birthing out South America. So she is protecting her children, and she is really the power to this inverted man being taken down. This is huge because he has so big that the Trump administration took him down because factually he was a criminal in
Right.
America. He's a criminal. So through the law, they could take him down. They could apprehend someone, even if they're in, I don't know how that works. I don't know politicians, but
Okay.
politics. But every single Venezuelan is celebrating. The thing about it is that you're seeing, like, the Black Lives Matter, that kind of like, Soros is funding.
Yeah.
So they're funding supposedly like a little group here and there of like Venezuelan, but the Venezuelans themselves are going up to these groups and they're like, "Are you Venezuelan?" None of them are Venezuelan. They're just
Really.
fake. They're not even Venezuelans.
Yeah.
So, and it is big because if you, this man has been trafficking not only drugs, but the worst thing is children. So what I was shown is that it was like a port, like an inverted port, where they would go through Mexico, and eventually once they reached there, like a selling, like a market of black market, and it just been dictator. It is factually communism there. This man has been there for, I think, 20-ish years, and he's had the people under, they were talking about some of the things that they've been doing, like they don't have sometimes food, they turn off their lights on them, they can't say anything bad, or they get arrested, or they go missing. So so they've been under dictatorship, in really enslavement, and they're women getting raped, a lot of sexual abuse there, and then children would obviously be going missing a lot there because since they're trafficking them from there. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's big, big then. That's a cause for celebration then, that if that is that's a good start to the year then.
Right. Oh, and the last year of the serpent.
Yeah, started you mean to
Last
go
month,
on.
I mean. Yeah.
Started you mean to go on. Yeah. So what sometimes it can get so difficult to know that the horrors are still going on, and cancel and delete all that instantly. What is there, like a spell or a prayer that we could get up and say every day that's going to help shift this quicker, to help get rid of all the pedos, the Satanists, the rapists, or the evil ones, basically?
I think stepping into, like, calling on Source, Divine Mother and Father, and the angels to assist.
Mm-hmm.
The angels are essences of Source. They're the very first beings that came forth from Source, like that birth out. Their Source, that's beautiful light, that's infinite. It's like, you just want to be in there forever. Just so infinite beauty. And then Source created a version of themselves, Mother and Father, so female and and masculine, divine feminine, masculine
Mhm.
angel beings. And so that's why angels could go into the multi-universe and multi-dimensions, because they're source in embodiment. And what was your question?
It was what we can say or do to shift
Oh,
these evils off this
you gotta
place.
call on the angels.
Yeah,
You gotta call on the angels and tell them to get rid of these demons and these pedos and these aliens inside
yeah.
these human bodies. Most of them could be zombie-ish. They're just like the
Mhm.
zombies eating flesh. That's why they gotta eat
Mhm.
children, bodies and adrenochrome and so on. And then
Mhm.
some of them are like, this demonic, say, bat like vampire thing inside a human body, and they're all they know is to, abuse and sexually abuse a child. It's really the entity inside that vessel. Yeah.
Crazy. So the archangels are always powerful enough to get rid of everything. So they're just the go-to guys, basically. Then.
Absolutely, because again, they're source in the game, like us. They're
Yeah.
in the multiverse,
Yeah.
and yeah, yeah.
Very good. Good to know.
Yes. Along the way, I meet all these beautiful people, and their stories that I get to hear is like they're alive because an angel saved them over
Yeah.
and over. And you're going to hear all sorts of false information and false, agenda on angels, that they're dark and so on. It's a lie.
Mm,
The AI, the archon, the demons are the bad ones,
yeah.
not the angels. The angels are the ones that save you from, if you need assistance, to shift you out if you're entrapped in these demonic realms, or UFO abductions. They pull you out of these spaces because
Yeah.
they're love. And so, I mean, I could be here for days telling you about stories of people being saved from the most horrific things, near death experience, like, someone murdering them and killing them, and they're alive because they believed in angels, and, their police officer was an angel. The police officer name was an angel, like was angel, like all these like angelic, and, that they were there to
Yeah.
help save them. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone was asking about why are angels reactive rather than proactive? They,
Yeah,
I, I think they have their own missions anyway, but the reason why we have to call upon them is so they're not overstepping our free will.
exactly. And that's why you could consider them reactive versus proactive. That's a good way to
Yeah.
explain it.
Hmm.
But it depends. They can be proactive. If you have activated your own angelic energy and DNA, then you are an angel too, right?
Hmm.
So, and all the little babies of Earth are little angels, and that's why they have sometimes these disorders and handicaps, and because they're really these high vibrational beings that cannot take the density here.
Mm.
And so then it creates into like disorders and illnesses and diseases. They can't
I
take the
think
toxins.
we might have spoke about this in a past call, but there's like a series called the Telepathy Tapes, and I haven't actually watched it or listened to it, but I've heard a lot about it, where they say that non-verbal children who have autism, they can't speak for whatever reason, but they can communicate through, say, technology, typing things out, or sign language, and they can read the minds of their carers. They're telepathic, basically. And what they are saying is that their way of communicating is way easier, and that they all go and meet each other in a spirit plane consciously. They just astral travel, or they project themselves out and they go and like have fun in higher planes consciously, and meet each other there rather than existing too much in the physical density.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um,
absolutely. 13 years? 13 years what? Maduro? I think it was 13. You're correct. Confirm that. You're talking about Maduro? Because actually that would be really important if it was 13 years. Yeah, so yeah, I think you did a beautiful job explaining that. And the telepathy. like how you were talking about earlier, like, you know, how you keep thinking about the person.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
all telepathic. So you want to ask, like, why am I thinking about this person? And is my consciousness, my brain telling me that they're thinking of me and they're trying to siphon my energy or mean some kind of ill intent?
Mm.
Then if they are, hey, no, I don't consent to that. Get them out of my mind. And so try not to think about people like that. If you're obsessively thinking about a person, you're giving your energy to them because that's just the way it works through quantum energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Maduro was 13 years. Oh, even better. What's
Wow.
up? Number 13, which
Yeah.
is Goddess
Like,
Donancy's and Divine Mother's number.
yeah.
He couldn't be there anymore. Nice. Good job, everyone.
Mm. So that's brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's more questions though. Someone was asking, can AI be and is spirit tech if used properly? Can AI be in spirit tech if used properly? Like spirit tech, I don't know what that is. Are you talking about like people claim that like med beds and so on can heal you? I don't align with that. We're in the third dimension. Technology is all compromised by AI. Even your phones, but you want to use and talk. You can alchemize, like, you know, talk to your crystals in your phone to make sure you're vibrating to love light. But you know, we know 5G towers and so on. You know, they're so inverted. So I don't know about spirit tech, but I mean, med beds were actually created by the military, and they're trying to get people inside of them because they're pods, and they could compromise your soul. They could actually just replace your soul if you go into one.
Wow.
Yeah. So can it be used properly? Not in the 3D. Talk to me when we are in the 5D and we're back to crystal. People call it crystal technology, but just crystal energy.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't personally trust any AI, and especially it's a given if you go into if you give your power away to the AI for spirit tech, it will compromise you or infringe on you.
Going back to the
Yeah.
telepathy, that is how you hear your guidance is through telepathy, really. That's how you communicate with the angels. And everyone has that gift. Everyone's born fully psychically aware and sensitive. Some people have those gifts more activated when they come to Earth than others, but everyone can activate theirs just as much. It just takes you clearing yourself out, activating it with light, doing the work, and then you become a clear channel to your own guidance and your own light. And then it's so important, I think, having that connection with your own higher self and angels, because you need to be able to rely on that divine guidance. If anything ever happened in the world, you need to be able to, in the moment, be like, right, what's my safest? Like, what do I need to do? How can I best guide everyone that I'm with right now? And that's through that's through building that connection. And for me personally, I had to do I had to build it. It wasn't just like an instant switch it on and suddenly I'm getting it all. It took me possibly like 6 years of my spiritual awakening and doing the work and clearing and cleaning to get to the point I'm at now. And so it's good to just start now rather than later on, building that connection with your angels and with your higher self, with your divine team, and specifying as well that you are connecting to those that love you unconditionally, like my angels who have been allocated to my lifetime, who love me unconditionally, who have my best interest for me, and then you just picking and choosing those who you're not accidentally pulling in anyone that's not got the best intentions for you without realizing.
Yes. Beautiful. Beautifully explained. And then next question is, are you so good to go a little bit longer? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Someone said, I'm brand new to this discussion and topic as a concept. Hypnosis hasn't worked for me multiple times. Is there any other way to regression? So start off with meditating, because truly what hypnosis really, also you got to release any dogma or programming on hypnosis. Your brain is factually is in and out of hypnosis. The way your brain works, it has to be. Your brain does not operate in one line like this. It operates in brainwaves, which means that you're in and out of hypnosis. So it release any programming on that, because we do it all day long. factually, when you take in the oxygen, you're instantly in. Oxygen alters the brain waves and the neurons and puts you into different states of being. So meditate, and that'll start helping you acclimate and understand that you're already in hypnosis. Pretty much, it just depends if you're more of a, more alert state of being, or more in between, or both, or all of them at the same time, because you can become a self-mastering being in all brain waves of that wave.
Mm. I definitely find doing a, a certain type of breathing can really help me get into a good state, good enough to kind of like feel more clear to receive my guidance. You can do a certain type of breathing to get you into the gamma brainwave, can't you?
Oh,
Um,
yes.
breath really just it changes it changes your field and your I'm going to pretend like I know the science. I don't. You can explain it if you want to, but yes, you'll know how to explain this better than I would.
Yeah, but I mean, explain it. I mean, you know, you know.
I don't know. So breath, all I know is it feels good and it helps me connect in, and that's the most I know scientifically.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
yeah. Um, so what else do we have?
Yeah, we have more. Someone else is asking, when we were talking about the elementals, they said, how would I find my elemental type?
Oh yeah, that's what I asked you earlier
Oh,
when
you
we
did. You asked me. Oh,
yeah.
okay. Hmm. Someone's asking, so I am single and celibate for 15 years, and they're 44. Oh, what's up? I'm 44 too.
Yeah.
And they said that they are a hermit and just antisocial or affected.
Hmm.
So are they antisocial or affected? You
Oh,
know?
they're asking a question.
Yeah. So they're single and celibate nearly 15 years. Are they antisocial or affected? What do you think?
Um, I I don't know. It depends on. I don't really know that person well enough to know kind of their mindset. Um, what I do feel though, just in general, is that particularly like the younger generation, and I would say that a lot of my generation is included in this, is like being more disconnected from people. Just like naturally, a lot of our friends are now just online, or we'll text them, so we don't go and like actually go and hang out and meet up with them. And so we put less effort into our actual connections with people physically, unless you've got like family in your immediate vicinity, or you're a good friend and you keep up with your friendships in person. But it's almost like the actual connection we have between other people, I feel, is weaker than it should and could be. And I feel like through my spiritual awakening, I stopped trusting a lot of people. I did isolate myself and went into that hermit mode because I was feeling like I just needed to separate myself and figure out who I was and what I wanted to stand for and all that kind of stuff. But I've more got to this point now where I'm now starting to realize or see the light and the good in humanity and see that you can trust people and it's good to trust people and it's good to open your heart and it's good to be loved and it's good to make these connections and to actually reach out and have that, because at the end of the day, I feel like even if your energy is really pure and good when you're on your own, we always will need each other. There's just, you can't do this alone, and that's that. You're never really doing it alone anyway because you have your guides, but to have physical human connection, I feel it's an innate need within us. And so if you are feeling isolated, maybe see if there's some groups that you feel and energetically aligned with, and you could start reaching out and start building those connections, but also do the inner work on what made you not trust people, because a lot of us have been persecuted in the past through people. And so it's easy to just go, humanity's evil, like look at what we do to the world, look at what the people do to children, like I hate humans, why am I here? But that's not going to be the energy or the mindset that manifests love. That's not going to be the energy and mindset that manifests Eden and heaven on earth. So I don't know if I answered your question, but that's what I felt called to share with that.
Yeah, very beautiful. Beautiful answer. I think respect both, like, have a balance. Too much of something is an imbalance, right? So, it's tough going out there because, in a sense, it does protect you to be isolated to yourself. It does. A lot of the people who I've met, they're, going to all these different events, and what happens is that not everybody means a positive intention at that event. And sometimes, they're receiving compromise infringements from that interaction. So feel it out, but then always have just love light boundaries that, hey, if this is not something that is positive or means harm towards me in any form, you know, let me know, team, or I'll steer away from it.
Hmm.
And or team, I mean, get me some people who are like me, who are vibrating high, and just looking for to have some explore hiking or nature or the beach, without having to worry about them trying to infringe upon me
Hmm.
and attach things to me or
Yeah.
energetically siphon my energy. There's got to be some nice people out there that hopefully you can find that would be like this. But I understand sometimes, when we're alone, it's the best way to find ourselves, and all those voices that distract us are gone from our minds, and
Yeah.
we can really find our beauty and our self-love in moments like that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It can keep you protected as well if you've got narcissistic family, or
Yeah.
sometimes like you need to just actually physically distance yourself, and then also just try and get out of their minds and try and go get to a place where they can not in their minds, you're like out of sight, out of mind, and then you can just get on with what you need to do without having people targeting you for fun just because of that type of person.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm glad you shared that actually, Aurora, as well, because when I first started waking up, when I first went vegan as well, I didn't have a lot of like my old friendship group. I kind of fell out of it all because they were all just smoking weed every day. They were just drinking, they were eating crap food, and they were not trying to, they weren't trying to do anything with their lives, which I was like that too. But then I got to this point where I was like, I need to start sorting my stuff out, and I wanted to start getting healthy and all sorts of things. So I ended up like moving back home away from this group, and I found like these vegan activists, and I thought these are all vegan people. These are all going to be like good moral people, is what I thought. And so I thought I'll go and meet these new friends in my hometown, and we'll go and do this vegan activism. And I met them all, and at first they were all really nice. And then just slowly, slowly, you start to see like this web underneath of like these negative chords, and they were having orgies at parties, and they were like judging people for not being vegan and trying to argue with people in streets. And suddenly you're like, hang on a minute. I had this perception that because they were doing something that I saw as a good thing for the world, like being vegan, I automatically assumed they were all going to be good people. I automatically assumed they were all going to be like spiritually awakened and like have being heart centered. And actually, some of them hated humans more than a normal person. And so I'm glad you shared that, because yes, it's good to reach out to like-minded people and always like use your energy first, see and sense and feel energetically what these people are like first. But I was so naive at the time. I just went in thinking, hey, here's a group of really fun people. And then it was only after a while that I started to realize that it was almost like having rose tinted glasses on, really. And it's like taught me how to have better discernment.
Yes. Yes. And one would think like everyone's prized possession is like to like be fully on like the third eye open, and like you're fully having visions and so on. And you just mean it from like, what do you want it for? Are you using it for self-growth? Are you using it for love, for service to others?
Mhm.
Because sometimes that could be distorted, that constant like also the trap of like finding that twin flame, finding that you become so obsessed that you forget everything else about becoming obsessed. And there's a lot of entities like messing with you, like once you start becoming obsessive over the twin flame. So really surrendering and letting go and allowing for everything to create is so important for us to know that it's gonna divinely happen no matter what it is that you're trying to create. And going into like I was hosting a workshop, and then there was sometimes, yeah, like you not being, say, full on abilities is protecting you, or sometimes people who are asleep are being protected, because it is very common that people who have, like, okay, for example, I had a workshop and there was one younger who had a full third eye and like a vision, so on. Then there was a older one who said that, my third eye feels pretty blocked and so on. So we're working with them, like teaching them how to, like, quantum heal themselves through the Aura hypnosis. They, who do you think had the most attachments? The one that was full on third eye open, or or the one that was blocked? The one that, go ahead.
The one with the third eye, you're going to say?
Yes, because
Wow.
she was joining all these groups, and because she was seeing and all these things, and she wasn't shielding all
Yeah.
these, like, entities kind of attached to her,
Hmm.
because she was too wide open with no boundaries. And while the other one that was blocked, but she did have a sort of a attachment that was blocking her, but then also was teaching her to, like, use your other senses too. Your brain has all
Yeah.
your different clairs. It's not about this prized possession of just seeing, because your vision can be tricked. You
Yeah.
have to also listen to your body, what you're feeling, knowing, smelling, sensing, touch. All these, like, clairs are important, just as important as the vision, because they all come together and give that vision of, if is it accurate or is it an artificial vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just remember that. Oh, I want to say, because you're over there in Scotland, but you were originally from the UK, I want to say that the winter equinox just happened. And I went to a cave in Glastonbury where people got naked in, and they had children walking around while people were getting naked. And also, here in America, it's not really a known thing. They do it kind of in private, like in the Masons and so on,
Hmm.
which, whatever, but we don't consent to either. But in the UK, you all get butt naked on equinoxes in Stonehenge, and you put your naked areas on these sacred stones. I
No.
gotta tell you, that the goddesses and Divine Mother does not consent to that. And
We don't
this is a normal
consent to
thing.
that.
No, you don't
No.
do that. You don't
No.
do that. But other, uh,
I don't know.
yeah.
I've only been to one, to be fair. I've never seen someone naked, but I did see one woman with her boobs out, and I was just like, just no, like, because it feels disrespectful, and I actually even think people being there eating like animal products is disrespectful, because it's just, I know that it's probably an extreme view, but for me it's like, keep the energy clean and pure. I don't want people doing disrespectful things at these places, because I know how powerful they are when they're on ley lines and they're aligned to the heavens, and they create such a powerful energy. We want it pure. But
Yes.
I've never seen that, so that is not a UK tradition. Don't think of the UK
No,
like
it
that.
is a thing. Like when we went on a tour to Stonehenge, the guy
Hmm.
said the tour, a tourist, and then I also had practitioners that went on the winter equinox, and once it went dark, and the people got naked. Uh,
Yeah.
and then I went to a sacred cave of Mary Magdalene and Yeshua, and again we witnessed people getting naked. And at Stonehenge, just this winter equinox, there was children there, and people got naked.
That's
So
not
I
cool.
want to bring this up because this is very disrespectful, and it's also very violating to Mother Gaia. She does not consent to you violating and getting naked and using her sacral energy like this through your sacral chakra. I mean, this is parasitic. And I want to tell you that the goddesses this year in the Lion's Gate, 13th gate, they are out. And if you do that and you violate these sacred sites, it's going to be yours to transmute.
Yeah.
They're not letting you use, Mother Earth is not letting you use her energy to invertedly create for yourself in
Hmm.
violating self-gain ways. So know that. So Mother Earth is giving me, telling you to give you a warning. You probably don't want to get butt naked anymore, and do these
Yeah.
things.
Guys, if anyone's just tuned in, she's not talking to me specifically.
No, not her, not her, not Aura. Aura's saintly and so angelic. I'm talking about the UK people that do this.
I accept that. I
Yeah,
accept that for the whole of the UK, and so that's now written in law. It's a spell now, and that's how it is. So they're all going to get their karma if they.
and they
But what?
claim it's like paganism. They claim it's like Celtic magic and it's like
Mhm.
paganism, and then they have like these deities and like, you know, with all sorts of inappropriate stuff that I'm not even go into. So
No,
yeah,
to be honest, what I've heard, I don't know if it's true, but the
yeah,
word the Druids were the original, say, people of the land, the Celtic Druids. That's what they were, who were like the They were just like would look after nature and see the divine in nature, really. And I still respect the spirit of the divine in nature, but I've been taught, I don't know if it's true, that paganism was actually created by the Romans as a way to try and ruin the original Druids. And now people jump on this paganism wagon, but actually paganism was a creation to ruin like the Athene teachings and the
I
true
agree.
Druids, what they were doing.
I agree. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
they claim that it's like sacred and holy to get naked.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Because they also, I don't love this, and I possibly have like quite strong stances on all of this stuff, on the animal product stuff, but using like animal bones or animal skulls in their magic and stuff, I just feel like, can we not do magic with death? Can we just use life instead and use light energy and create with life and create without taking life as well? Let's just kind of let's just live and let live, eh? Let's just do that.
absolutely. And
Um,
then, treat everything sacred.
yeah.
Like if you were in your house, would you want someone, getting naked in your space? No. So then you're not going to do that in her sacred sites and
Mhm.
her holy stones. That if we knew the true power to their divinity,
Mhm.
I mean, it's part of keeping the earth in balance, keeping positive timelines, and
Mhm.
also protecting the children.
Mhm.
So when they get the adults to violate the energy there, then they're using this energy through black magic to violate children.
Mhm.
Yeah. So stop being the battery to that, not aura, again, people who do this
Yeah.
in sacred sites.
And I've also found that they have also built a lot of they've built we know that churches and cathedrals are on ley lines, so are castles, so are these holy sites, but they've also built slaughterhouses on the ley lines. There's certain pubs and fish and chip shops that are on ley lines. There's football stadiums on ley lines. There's concert stadiums on ley lines. They've built all these big places where they do these rituals on ley lines because they're
They
trying to
do.
use the energy to try and basically dampen the grid, the Earth's grid. And what I have heard from the angels and the light is that not to give too much away, but the lines are now guarded by the light. So they can't use the line they can't use the line to power up their black magic anymore.
They can't. So then that would be their own karma now. That's the way it is. Mother Gaia after the 13th gate. I've been channeling the Lion's Gate every year, and in 2024 the 12th gate, 2023 the 11th gate open, and that's why they're called gates, Lion's Gate. So in 2000 this year, the one that passed 2025, Lion's 13th gate open of love. And with that, it allowed for the goddesses and the true guardians of all these sacred temples and stones and sites and ancient ruins, both in your world,
Hmm.
Asia, Europe, Africa, and our world, to start coming forth through the stones, because what these stones are, they're portals
Yeah.
to these guardians, and they are protecting them now. So that's something that you will not be wanting to do if you're a dark person violating them,
Yeah.
because it will backfire on you now, is what I'm telling you.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Good. Good to know.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. And I think we're good. What do you think? Aura, and I think we're.
So if you're watching on Rumble, you'll be able to watch back instantly. If you're watching on TikTok, it should when it streams live on Rumble, it's there then straight away, isn't it?
Yeah, it usually keeps going. Yeah, it's there.
Yeah. So if you're on TikTok and you've only caught a little bit of this, but you want to watch the full thing, head over to Rising Phoenix Aurora's Rumble channel, and you can watch it from the beginning straight away. And we'll also post it on both of our YouTubes as the full video, so you don't have to miss anything that was good, anything important like that. Sending everyone so much love for tuning in. We really appreciate you being here and asking all the questions. It's great that you're holding such a beautiful energy and that you can resonate with us while we're sharing truths like this, and it goes in and you agree, hopefully. So it's nice to have these connections with other light beings across the whole of the earth, wherever you are tuning in from.
Thank you, everyone. I love you with all that I am. Thank you for being strong enough and brave enough and being the beings here on Earth, taking on that mission. And let's go, you all. There's so much work to do within ourselves and the collective. Everything I do to create a better world for the children of Earth. And let us all vibrate to that. In what ways can we make sure that this world is more beautiful and more beautiful, returning, reseeding Eden back to her so that the children can have an easier time on Earth. And the way I do that is I help the adults. And as I help the adults, and I also do sessions for children too, but as I help the adults, then they help their children, and they step into their power and believe their children when they're telling, when their children are telling you, like, there's a ghost here, there's an entity, there's an alien, and how can you assist them? And my goal is to teach you how to do that so your children can have an easier time. You guys can have more fun on Earth, not freaking out because they're seeing and sensing things that are scary. I love you with all that I am. And go to my website, risingphoenixaurora.com and aurapractitioners.com. Come sign up to the workshop January 12th. And I have several. You go find out all my information there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ora, what an honor. What an incredible show. I love these shows. I think we do such a beautiful job, and just really an honor to be here with you today. Thank you.
It's my honor as well. So thanks so much, and I'll see you on the next one.
See you next
everyone. Bye.
I